Hello and welcome to Sabha Television. I am Akhilesh Suman and you are watching Indian Standard Time. Indian Standard Time is a window to the world through which we try to understand a global phenomena, a particular country or a region. And with me today is a very special guest, the High Commissioner of Rwanda in India, Excellency Jacqueline Mukangira. Excellency, you know that we are living in a really difficult time. Corona pandemic is haunting the whole world. So how Rwanda is affected by Corona pandemic?
So the coronavirus pandemic has affected each and every country in the world. Therefore, Rwanda has not been an exception to the pandemic.
Right. So how do you think it reached so far away place in Africa, in Rwanda? How did you see this phenomena traveling there?
So the first case came to Rwanda from a passenger who arrived from outside on 13th March 2020 and tested positive after showing some symptoms.
So how are you tackling it?
So the response is multisectoral. Number one, since the first case was tested in Rwanda, our government put in place strict preventive measures to cap down the spread of the virus. Lockdown was imposed, schools closed, and public gatherings stopped. Two, mass sensitization on wearing masks, social distancing, hygiene, and sanitization, like washing hands, using sanitizers, and the leaders in various places in my country must ensure that all this is working well. Furthermore, the leaders keep calling on our people to change their attitude and go cashless.
Right. Prime Minister Narendra Modi had also called Excellency the President of Rwanda, Paul Kagame, and Prime Minister had assured all possible help from India to Rwanda in fighting out this pandemic. So what type of cooperation is going on between the two countries?
You know that Rwanda and India enjoy excellent bilateral relations, and we have got so much support from India. We have got some medicines, and during the previous bilateral talk between His Excellency President Paul Kagame and Right Honorable Prime Minister of India, the Prime Minister of India promised support to Rwanda, and we will collaborate very closely.
Africa is very important for India, African region. We have a very emotional understanding between India and African regions, African countries. So how India and Rwanda feel about each other?
So Rwanda and India have strong historical ties.
Right.
More than 3,000 Indians live in my country. Some of them arrived in Rwanda in the beginning of 1900 and they started doing business in my country. They got integrated in the Rwandan society. They learned our culture and the language. Some of them speak Kinyarwanda, which is my mother tongue, so well. They speak it so well. There is even a big number of Indians who are in my country who have already got Rwandan citizenship.
Right. And, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, when he went to Rwanda in 2018, I think you remember that, and he gifted 200 cows to Rwanda. So how do you see this gifting of cows to Rwanda by India?
So the visit to Rwanda by Right Honorable Prime Minister of India, the first ever visit by Indian Prime Minister to Rwanda, was a historical landmark. Many Rwandans keep fond memories of PM Modi's visit to Rwanda due to the unique gift of 200 cows to the residents of Rugweru Model Village in the Bugesera district in eastern province of my country as part of Jirinha. Jirinha means 1 cow per poor family program, which was actually initiated in 2006 to be one of Rwanda's homegrown solutions to combat socio-economic problems. So therefore, 200 cows donated by Right Honorable Prime Minister of India were given to poor families, and this helped them to improve their livelihoods through milk consumption and sale of dairy products, as well as providing manure. Nevertheless, PM Modi's visit to Rwanda is not only remembered on the donation of cows to Jirinha, but also to many other important outcomes of the visit, because during that visit, several MOUs were signed. Both heads of state held a press conference. The PM of India and the President of Rwanda addressed the Indo-Rwanda Business Forum. And PM Modi also made other donations to Rwanda, including books to schools, and he also visited Kigali Memorial Center.
So Prime Minister visit in 2018 was also very unique in that sense that first time India opened its High Commission in Rwanda, even though Rwandan High Commission in India was there for quite a long time. So how that High Commission is helping jailing the relationship between India and Rwanda?
So since 2018, India has opened a resident mission in Kigali, and the first High Commission was fully operational with the first High Commissioner of India in my country. This was a very important step in strengthening our bilateral relations between Rwanda and India. So having a resident Indian mission in Kigali is a big relief to many Rwandans and Indians who travel or stay or do business in either countries. As you may be aware, sir, Rwanda before was represented by Indian mission in the neighboring country. This was a big burden to secure visa and other consular services for anyone who wants to travel to either country. But now, the resident mission serves the purpose in a very convenient manner. Communication between the two countries was also made easier, because if there is anything to communicate, the High Commissioner of India in Kigali will make a call or visit our Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation.
India and Rwanda are also thinking, and I think you are increasing the business between the two countries. So what type of business cooperation is going on, and what is there in the pipeline between the two countries?
First of all, allow me to inform you that Rwanda and India enjoy excellent bilateral cooperation. At the state level, we do cooperate in different areas, and regarding business, I have to let you know that we see a lot of potentials in both countries. There are potentials in Rwanda for Indian investors in various sectors, including manufacturing, agriculture, and agro-processing, IT, and education. And I have to let you know that today there are over 100 Indian companies in my country, like Airtel and other Indian companies which are doing a great work in Rwanda. And there are still immense opportunities for more companies that would want to come in. There are also potentials for Rwandan products to enter Indian markets like coffee, tea, minerals, vegetables, and fruits, which can come in the Indian market.
Yeah, that's really very interesting. But we also come to hear that Rwanda is one of the fastest growing economies in African region. And Rwanda is attracting lots of FDI. If we take care of the pandemic, it can go furthermore. So, what are the things that you are attracting in FDI?
So, first of all, allow me to let you know that there is a lot Rwanda is doing to attract FDI. First of all, the government of Rwanda has set an agency called the Rwanda Development Board, RDB, whose mission is fast-tracking economic development in Rwanda by attracting and facilitating investors and enabling private sector growth. RDB is like a clearance house for any investor. You get all information related to opportunities, laws and policies, incentives, taxation, migration, business etc. has to be made under one roof. In
Right.
Rwanda, you can register a company in 6 hours only, and you don't have to move from one office to another one to get all the required services. So Rwanda worked hard on ensuring safety of the investors, improving the investment climate, business-friendly regulation, an efficient support process, commitment to foreign ownership and multiple incentives, enacted policies conducive to investors, and providing necessary facilitation to investors. Let me inform you, sir, that Rwanda's investment climate is among the most favorable in Africa and
Right.
globally in terms of investment opportunities and the provision of a stable business environment. According to the World Bank Doing Business report of 2020, Rwanda has minimized the time investors spend on taxes and contract enforcement. Today, administrative requirements for investors are less than 50% compared to neighboring countries. The report actually ranks Rwanda the second place in the easy of doing business in Africa and 38th in the world.
So are you allowing investment 100% as FDI, or you have some proportion that you keep some percentage in your country? Some domestic company also have to participate with the incoming company from outside. What is the formula?
So FDI plays a big role in our economy, but also local companies are doing a great job. They are doing very well, and they have contributed to the Rwandan economy after the 1994 genocide.
Right. And I was asking that, are you allowing 100% FDI, or you are telling the foreign company to share some stake with the local companies, joint venture?
Foreign companies can come and do business on their own. But
100%,
when it's possible,
100%
they can have ventures with the Rwandan companies, and everything works very well.
How are the female in Rwanda are doing? I mean, the female gender, you are the High Commissioner of Rwanda in India, but it will be really interesting to know that how the general Rwandan female are doing.
So, in my country, a woman is a queen. And that was not the case before 1994 genocide.
Right.
You know, after the 1994 genocide, against the Tutsi, women were majority.
Right.
And I have also to let you know that during the liberation struggle, Rwandan women have played a key role in liberating our country. So after the genocide, we noticed that women should continue playing a key role in the reconciliation process and the reconstruction process of our country. So that's why our leadership decided to have a favorable legal framework. Today, our constitution is so clear. Our constitution stipulates that in key decision-making organs, women have to be at least 30%. And that's why we do have in the lower chamber 61.3% of women. Oh. And in the cabinet, we do have 50% of women. And in other institutions, that's how it is, because we do have a conducive legal framework. So we believe in gender equality and women empowerment. And I have to let you know that we reached to that level because of a strong political will, especially from our president.
Oh, that's great. What I also want to know that, that Rwanda, as you have mentioned yourself, that Rwanda has gone through very worst crisis, ethnic strife and confrontation between various tribes. How did you come out of it? How the society recouped itself and created a balance in that society?
Sir, before I answer your question, let me inform you that we never had tribes in Rwanda. Indeed, we had 3 social groups who shared one nation, one language, and one culture. So when the colonizers came, they decided to divide us in order to rule in their own way.
Right.
Social classes were then turned into ethnicity, and ideas were introduced defining who we are. So Rwandans lost unity. That's why they started burning houses of Tutsis, some were killed, and many others fled our country since 1959.
Right.
After we got our independence, the Rwandan leaders of the First and Second Republics continued those bad politics of divisionism and discrimination against one part of our population. So killings of Tutsis who were in Rwanda continued until 1994. When the regime masterminded the genocide against the Tutsi, that saw over 1 million of innocent lives perished. In July 1994, soldiers of the Rwandese Patriotic Army liberated Kigali and put an end to 100 days of genocide against the Tutsi. The new government inherited a destroyed country, and the wound was really deep. So coming back to your question, sir, after the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi, the new Rwandan leadership started laying a strong foundation for political, social, and economic transformation. The new leadership reintroduced the Rwandan identity, where all Rwandans have equal opportunities. Mm-hmm. And that was not the case before 1994. Right. So for your information, what I'm telling you, it's not what I heard from other people. It's not what I read in the books. It's what I lived since I was a kid, because I was born and raised in Rwanda. So I've been a victim of such discrimination. I have also to let you know that there also had to be justice, and impunity was not tolerated. This is where our traditional justice system, like Gacaca, came into play. Yeah, today, I'm glad to inform you, sir, that our country is peaceful. And
Right.
we identify ourselves as Rwandans, not as Hutu or Tutsi. We are Rwandans. We are
Okay.
Rwandans, and we share one country, we share one culture, we share one language, our mother tongue, even though we have other official languages. Sir, I have to let you know also that Rwanda has become a different and a better country. The dedication of our top leadership and millions of Rwandans who have worked very hard to rebuild our country have contributed significantly to make Rwanda a fast developing, transformed, and stronger nation. The visionary leadership of His Excellency President Paul Kagame has inspired Rwandans to be united, think big, and be accountable.
Um, Very good to hear, actually. But what is the situation of the various tribes? Are they represented in the government, and how they correlate themselves in the society, in the politics, everything?
So, as I already mentioned, we don't identify ourselves as
Okay.
Tutsi or Hutu. We are all Rwandans.
All Rwanda now.
But yeah, we are Rwandans, and we have equal opportunities. Opportunities in terms of education, in terms of job, and so on and so forth. And in all institutions, both public and private organs, all Rwandans have equal rights. They have
Right.
equal opportunities. Thank you
Okay.
so much, sir.
Okay. It's very important to also know that Rwanda is a very beautiful country, and I was going through some of the documentaries on Rwanda, and I could see that it is not only natural beauty, but you also have a cultural beauty in your country, and people take part in various cultural activity. So, is there any cultural tie between India and Rwanda, and what type of cultural exchanges are there between the two countries?
So, as you said, we have a beautiful country, and our country is even called country of 1,000 hills.
Right.
And you know very well that India is also beautiful. You have a very good culture. We do have a wonderful culture, and there is a lot to share. I have to let you know that one of the memorandum of understanding which have been signed between India and Rwanda, there is one on culture. We are working hard to make sure that that a memorandum of understanding is implemented. And I believe that there is a lot we will have to share.
And what type of connectivity do we have? Do we have direct flight between the two countries, or we have to take a stopover and then go to Rwanda and come to India?
Rwanda has a national flight called Rwandair. It works between Kigali and Mumbai.
Kigali and Mumbai?
Yeah, Kigali and Mumbai.
Oh, direct
But
flight.
yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
great. Oh,
Yeah, but because of COVID-19,
right.
Rwandair can't come to Mumbai this time, but we are hoping that in a few days, the Rwandair will resume its flight between Kigali and Mumbai.
And my last question is, how do you maintain your beautiful places? How do you welcome the tourists there? How easy it is to go to Rwanda and take all the facilities of tourism?
Thank you so much, sir. As I told you in the beginning, Rwanda is now stable. We have had genocide in our country, but today Rwanda is peaceful.
Right.
And Rwandans are so warm. They like welcoming visitors, they like welcoming guests. And as I said, there is a lot to see in our country when it comes to tourism. So all tourists who come to Rwanda, they are very well received by Rwanda Development Board and other institutions, and they all make sure that they are very well received. So when it comes to tourism, I have to let you know that there is a lot to see in Rwanda. We have mountain gorillas, we have other animals in the other national parks, because we have the National Park of Akagera, we have Nyungwe National Park. So we do have a very good landscape in my country. Rwanda Development Board, as I said, is also promoting tourism. In addition to beautiful scenery, Rwanda has a wide range of tourists, as I said, tourist attractions ranging from mountain gorillas to safari parks, as well as several other experiences for tourists, such as canopy walk, birding experience. And a lot has been done to attract the tourists, and more is still being done. At policy level, sir, I have to let you know that our visa regime allows everyone to come to Rwanda, and for most people, it is visa-free, while for others, it is visa on arrival. Rwanda has emerged as the second best destination for meetings, incentives, conferences, and exhibitions in Africa. Security and investment in hospitality infrastructure, good roads, open visa policy, and an efficient national airline, Rwandair, just to name a few, have all contributed to that. And as I mentioned before, Rwanda took strong actions to limit the spread of COVID-19 and ensure that the health of our citizens, visitors, wildlife are safe. International flights, as well as Rwandair flights, were halted in March 2020, and the national parks stopped both tourism and research activities. But Rwanda reopened for tourism activities, as well as the resumption of international travels for visitors arriving by charter flight, effective 13th June 2020, and for visitors arriving by scheduled commercial flights as of 1st August 2020.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Excellency, for talking to Rajya Sabha Television. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.